Christian May Tumarong. In this video, we are going to analyze and evaluate a sample of language learning material if it adheres to the factors, guidelines, principles when designing a language learning material. So I have here the sample of a language learning material. It is a textbook that we used way back in grade 11, and the title of the book is Introduction to World Religions and Belief Systems. So what I love about this book was that it conveys and enumerates the various religions located all around the world and determine its origin, historical background, their sacred scriptures, their beliefs and doctrines, their worship and observances, as well as the subdivisions and their selected issues. This textbook will widen our perspective about religion and teaches us to appreciate distinct beliefs and practices. So let's evaluate this textbook through the given chart as a guide. So in the 1A element, it stated that the materials explicitly identify the learning goals for students and ask students to examine and consider those learning goals at the beginning of the unit. In this book, it is clearly identified the learning goals for students, especially at the beginning of the unit. So in the preface, it states here that with this in mind, we offer you the textbook Introduction to World Religions and Belief Systems to help you comprehensively learn not only about the fundamental teachings and ritualistic practices, but also the historical background, geographical context, and cultural milieu of these profound Asian religions. Apart from understanding key concepts in religion, it is also imperative to learn the historical and geographical circumstances of world religions in order to appreciate their distinctive characteristics. At the end of the semester, students are expected not only to understand world religions, but more importantly, to demonstrate an appreciation and respect for their own faith and that of others. So next, in the 1B element, it stated that the material supports teacher in helping students identify, examine, and consider learning goals. So in this material, it is also very well supports teachers in helping students. It says here that this textbook comes with a teacher's manual and additional resource materials to help teachers in facilitating a more effective study of world religions. This book also aims to cultivate your critical thinking skills through challenging activities based on the learner-centered approach. So next, in the 2A element, it stated that the materials explicitly provide students with a pathway through the arc of lessons with benchmark for success. The pathway clearly indicates to students how the learning outcomes will be achieved through the lesson arc. Students are asked to examine and consider the learning pathway and benchmark during the chapter. So the book has a pathway or a walkthrough that indicates students the lesson within each chapters. So in this book, it has chapter opener, lesson opener, and it also has essential understanding and questions. It also includes motivational activities, concept map, web link, guide questions, and a trivia. In the end of the topic, it has a summary, a critical thinking activity, and an assessment, and an overview on the next lesson. In 2B, it stated here that the material supports teachers in helping students identify the learning pathway and benchmark for success. So based on the benchmark given, it not only provides students a pathway through the arc of lessons, but it also supports teachers in helping students for successful language learning. Next, in 3A element, it said that the materials ask students to articulate their initial ideas about the major scientific concept of the unit in the engage and/or explore. So the textbook doesn't clearly ask students to articulate their initial ideas. However, it somewhat creates essential questions and guide questions along each lesson. Like here in lesson 1, it has essential questions like how the religions come about and how does religion differ from spirituality. It has also guide questions such as how is religion viewed by various people in relation to their outlook on God. So next, in 3B element, it said here that the material supports teachers in helping students articulate their initial ideas. So the book somewhat supports teachers in helping students articulate their initial ideas. So in 4A element, it stated that The materials ask students to compare their developing understanding of the major scientific concept with their initial ideas and to consider their movement toward the learning outcomes in the explain. In this material, it has very well created questions that ask students to compare their developing understanding of the concept to their initial ideas. The textbook has a critical thinking activity that would help students to generate their developing and initial ideas about the topic. So, in the critical thinking activity, it asks some questions like, how does your conception of a divine or supreme being compare with the supernatural beings found in other religious beliefs? Do you agree with a specific theory of religion? Defend your answer. And do you consider yourself religious or spiritual? Explain. And as for 4B, the material also clearly supports teachers in helping students compare their developing understanding with their initial ideas. Here in 5A, it stated that the materials ask students to demonstrate their understanding and abilities associated with the major concept of the unit in the evaluate. So in the learning material chosen, it has very well asked students to demonstrate their understanding and abilities of the major concept of the unit. The book has a motivational activity that asks questions that help students to showcase their understanding as well as their own belief systems. It has also some following questions that would cultivate the understanding and abilities of the students in each unit. And same as 5A, in 5B element, it has also clearly and very well indicated the support for teachers in helping students demonstrate their abilities and understandings. So next, in the 6A element, it stated here that the materials offer opportunities for students to receive peer and teacher assessment across the chapter. In this language learning material, it has very well offered opportunities for students to receive peer and teacher assessment. Here is an activity that guides students to assist themselves as well as the people around them. The questions involved are, what different values have your religion instilled in you? And what are the various guiding principles which may have been influenced by your religion do you adhere to in your life? In 6B element, the material is somewhat providing an instruction for teachers on what to do with student data from assessments by analyzing and calculating their answer to the given criteria. In conclusion, the textbook adheres to the factors, guidelines, and principles to consider when designing a language learning material. Thank you so much for watching and have a good day ahead.